Well, hello guys, welcome back if you've been on the channel before or following the build, but I'm going to show you where I'm at. I'm pretty much finished all my parts to the Starboost MK39 suit, and yeah, it's took a lot of time and it's kicked my butt. Used up all spare available time. It's drove me mad, but we're finally here. I've printed most of my suit at 110%. And all these parts at 100%. So this one here was the version with the faceplate that comes off. I just printed it the way it came on the plate, and it's more than ample, plenty of room to put some padding in there. And because the suit's 110%, it's pretty much going to be like a good enough size. It's not going to look bobbleheaded, and it's not going to look like the head's too small. But yeah, a lot of work to do. Filling in and smoothing. I like the texture, not on some of these patches, but I was going at super speed. Now I'm using the Artillery Sidewinder X1. Only got one machine and I am just burning at full rate, 100 millimeters a second. This is the outcome, and it's speeded up. I've tried a few prints, like the hands here, at a much slower speed, and they just took ages. So yeah, when you got prints like this to do and other big ones, which I'm about to show you, I've stuck majority of stuff together into batches, but it's all single pieces, so I'll get on with showing you them. These were the hands, front and back. I'm going to get fingers from a different suit and do the fingers from them, but this was a different filament as well. I ran out of this stuff here. 10 rolls blew through that easy, and then another 5. So I've got various parts with various colours on it. And yeah, they'll all be getting painted and sorted anyway, so let's get on it. This is the shoes. Now, that's where I ran out, was on the other shoe. I managed to fill that in with a bit of white, and also all the different parts inside here are the bits that actually stick onto the circles in the shoe. But the shoes look pretty cool with the big boosters in them at either side. Pretty snazzy. I'll be working out for shoving boots up inside here before sealing them in for their fate. But yeah, we'll move on to the other parts and show you what we've got, and then possible ideas of how we're going to join it all together. Okay, so now this is the Buttocks, man. This is the Buttocks. So that was made in 2 pieces, split right down the center, and they came together just fine. They'll fill in great. Of course, I've done the obligatory wood burning kit, or a solder gun you could use, but the tips are nice and flat in the wood burning kit and it helps. So just now that's patched in, they will be hot stapled then filled for extra strength. The suit, this part, yeah, the whole body part is 110%. So that is, as you can see, came out pretty fantastic. I've seen other people freaking out about whether they should split it or whether they need a bigger printer to print it all in one go. I mean, I'm telling you now, you're not going to see that line. When that line's sanded flat and all filled in where it needs to be and smoothed off and then primered, you're not going to tell much that there's a join there. Maybe if there's a little bit of height layer difference, you might be able to tell on the overall product, but if you get them as close as you can to being level, you'll be able to fill that in. So came out pretty good, and I actually like that kind of filament. It's my favourite filament as well. It's a Sunlu Silk PLA, but yeah, didn't want to say that. Offered the guys a little deal, but they declined, so yeah, boo-hoo Sunlu. This is my chest piece. Now you'll remember it having big arm pieces coming out at the back here. I chopped them off. As you can see, very rough job. Just used parts out of one of these with a little mini drill with a cutter disc, and we chopped all the way through. We followed the line that was up here and just chopped straight down through, because I decided to weld the arms. Give me a second, I'll show you this. You're gonna love it. Yeah, not this. I just thought I'd show you this because it would help me clear some space. This is the waist part. I opted to chop it through the first flat section right through and both sides, rather than chop it down the middle. I tried that, it never quite worked for me, so I left this section whole, and as you can see, it joined together quite nice. I mean, I'll be hiding that quite easy. Same with the other side. Yeah, it's not overly noticeable, not drastic. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but yeah. So we get this out of the way, and this here is my Jetpack. So hold on, we'll get this turned around. I can't get it to sit, hold on. Right, this is the Jetpack. It looks absolutely amazing. Now this is chopped. The boosters are single packs, and this got chopped through here, straight through. So this was one unit by itself, and then this section up here was one unit, and then we've cut through the top section to get the top cap off. So it's 3 separate sections for that one side booster. Now this middle plate, we got a cut along through here, and I also chopped it straight through the flat face of the vent that's on the back. So this vent goes through, and I just cut it straight across in mesh mixer. And then up here, I just cut straight across here to chop the boosters off so that I could then slice these files so that I could do one of these at a time. Went together a bit rough, but that'll fill in and patch up. Easy peasy. Now, I chopped my suit apart and decided to measure this in, and it looked absolutely great. And when I had one side on, it looked like it had more than enough space because it was like angling out. So I thought, I've got more space than I think I do, rather than it angling in. So I went ahead and I stuck the other one on lightly, tried to get in it and can't get in it because these are just too firm and too close together. So that is causing an issue for me. So at this point I'm thinking maybe it would be best to get these back off and clean it all out, and maybe remake this part of the chest with TPU. Because TPU, oh, where are we? The TPU, as I'm putting it on, this part would be able to flex out of the way for me to get my arm in, and then it would come back to where it sits, because it's quite tough stuff. I've got a couple of TPU parts that are made, like Frankly Built said, that they're quite firm material. Although you think it's elasticy and stretchy, it really is not. My TPU arm part, I can't even bend my arm. Like under full strain it tries to fold, but it will not bend like a stretchy material. Maybe I made it much too thick as well, so that'll account for it. But I reckon the TPU will bend out the way enough for you to get your arm in and wear it like this. And then we have the plate, which basically goes on like this. And I could keep that in place if that would work. So I don't think it's going to work with the PLA the way it is, like such. But yeah, I did originally have it in parts. As you can see, there's a line that cut through. There's another line up here. And I've ended up, after it was all joined together, just hacking through and following the line of the booster. See the booster here? I just followed the back line of that all the way down. But to me, it's definitely, I can't get in that suit like that anymore. So I'm probably going to have to reverse and remove all this, clean it out, get more TPU, reprint the chest piece in TPU, recut it again, stick it back in here, plaster weld it into place, and then we're rocking. Then I can start building the raft tabs coming out with the purse magnets on to keep the chest in place. But yeah, so my booster pack overall turned out quite nice. I like it. Some's a little bit out of line. There's some gaps to fill, but overall really nice. Turned out absolutely wicked. So yeah, and then under there would be the waist piece. It's a waist piece that matches up in here. But absolutely love it. Anyway, we'll get on. I'll show you some other bits I've made. I've made some thighs and stuff as well. Okay, so here is my 110% stomach and cod piece, and see, to be honest with you, from here you can barely see where it's cut, kinda. Doesn't actually look that bad at all. The line's quite, in fact, there you go, the line's quite good at hiding. And then it was split down the centre as well, but also it was split straight across the middle. So the abs is in 4 sections, and the cod was a separate piece. Now I actually plastic welded this into place, and then judging by how the suit works, I might want to be able to rotate my body slightly, so that might mean this might have to be separate from this. So, not sure. But it came out absolutely great. This is the back, all plastic welded. You can see it was just chopped straight in half one way, straight in half the other way. Nothing to worry about. All the parts printed absolutely perfectly. The cod pieces in 2 parts. That lifted on one corner, which caused a little bit of opening down there, but yeah, managed to seal it all in. So, that is my cod piece complete. Well, my cod and my stomach up at the abs. Right, so we get on to the next part. Right guys, this is my thigh sections here. I've not got the vents in at the moment, and it was just to show you, this was the second one, which turned out okay. Don't worry about that mess, I was just making sure it was sealed and solid. That will be gone by the final result. If we can stand it up here in the light, you can see. Obviously these hexagons were a separate part, but the hexagons itself I chopped straight through in the centre. I left a little bit onto these because these are actually 2 big fangs, and rather than making them build on the build plate in separate pieces, I just put the cut line above slightly just so that these could be joined together by this strip, and that just gave it strength on the build plate. And it was fine, and they'll fill in absolutely fine. You'll barely notice they're even there when it's done. Now, this other one was actually my first piece, and it kind of went wrong. Well, it never really went wrong, I just didn't pay enough attention. Like when I originally stuck this top section in this smooth section, when I've stuck it in, I've not had it come down far enough. Whether that have been maybe it needed sanded on the inside to fit better, but I should have waited till this other part was made to make sure both of them lined up before gluing it into place, and then further plastic welding every single join one by one inside until they were sealed into place. So that's left an opening, but to be honest with you, if I need to, I can just fill that in with some filament. We'll melt it down in there, maybe even use a 3D pen, bring it flush so that when I'm sanding and bringing it back, that should be non-noticeable. But yeah, that's my thigh pieces, and to me, I was enjoying them. They were looking great, but I had to move on to my favourite part, which was going to be the legs, you know, the bottom of the shins going onto the boots. Like that to me was the neatest part of the suit after the Jetpack. So, let me show you them. You'll like it. So check it out. Now I decided to join the kneecaps together onto the top of the boot so that when I walk, the spike that's coming up like this, that'll come away as I'm walking and then come back. And because my legs don't bend backwards, it should be absolutely fine. So rather than coming up with something inside to hinge these onto, so the cap was loose by itself, that's one complete unit. Now it looks decent. Now I messed about up here, filling in a part, but overall the whole entire boot is absolutely great. I was happy with it all over. Absolutely wicked. Big boosters in the back, the little section that comes in down here, even these little fins down here got a bit wobbly on these tips because it had been the whole section and I never orientated it right on the bed, so there was a lot of extra vibration coming from a lot of bed movement. But overall, absolutely great. Fired straight into the other one as well. See if we can stand stuff up. And yeah, so we got both boots well, shins, legs, lower legs. Absolutely wicked. Love it. Kind of favourite part. It was my favourite part until we came across the Jetpack. Once we start, I was more worried about making that, thinking it's got to take ages. Well, it did take a while, but it was big, massive, chunky single prints I was doing, and it was just a case of putting them on the machine, letting it do its job. I had to forget about it for a good few hours. And I mean a good few hours. Some of these prints were like upwards of like 30 hours and stuff. So that machine, that Artillery Sidewinder X1, that is an awesome 3D printer, guys. I'm telling you, absolutely awesome. Prints TPU, it's got a direct drive, it just runs at mega speed, doesn't have too many wavy lines, especially on a project you plan on sanding down and stuff. Speed's not really a concern. That Volcano hot end gets more hotter filament in there, and it can produce what it needs. I've had one blockage which led to me trying to change a tip and not heating it up first before putting the tip back in and just cranking on it, and then when it started it oozed goo all over the place. So it put me out of action for over a week, and then I got right back to it, and that machine has just been running night and day non-stop. You're lucky if that thing gets like a 10-minute break in between me waking up or getting the other print on. So we're balling. We've got a box full of parts, everything's here. Next stage will just be making everything join together, find where it can join, maybe use some form of material inside to keep like the arm parts all together, don't know. But my biggest concern in the next step for me will probably be getting some TPU, remaking the chest parts out of TPU so that I can chop it and stick it onto here, so that it lets me get into the suit. And then it's got a bit of flexibility as well. I struggle to get my arms through these holes. Now I sized this up to 110% and I'm still struggling to get my shoulders through these holes. I'm not a massive boy and the holes look much bigger than my arms, but when it comes to putting them through, it's just a no-go. But it kind of works. I can force it to work, but it's really uncomfortable because these are hard. If that was TPU, it's probably going to be a little bit more manageable, and it'll flex out the way so I can get in. So this here is my update for Starboost 39. And yeah, we'll be moving forward with making fit because everything is made. Except the fingers. Need to find me some fingers. But that's nothing. That's like, can do that later when the suit's nearly complete as well. Probably find some better ones by then. But yeah, all the parts. Thighs, chest, abs, back, waist, shins, boots, shoes, jetpack, absolutely everything is done. It's been going night and day. I really do want to show my thanks and appreciation Do3D for supplying the free files for making this suit. What an epic project, man. 15 rolls of filament later. This is crazy. So yeah, I look forward to you catching up with the rest of the videos, the rest of the build. And I'll try and get this thing into production. Try and get some maybe little hands on it and get them sanding away on parts to speed it up a bit. But yeah, I'll give you a heads up on another update soon. Thanks a lot if you've been following along, and if you need to subscribe for future updates. This suit is going to be crazy when it's done. We'll be adding voice changers, smoke, lights, all sorts of fancy stuff. So yeah, keep an eye on this one, and bye for now, guys.